The Other 99 is brought to you by TCGplayer.com. Hello everybody, and thanks for watching this episode of The Other 99. Today we're going to take a look at a commander deck themed around Nicol Bolas. The deck was built by Thomas Durbin, a.k.a. the Dark One. Nicol Bolas, the Elder Dragon himself, is an awesome villain in the Magic lore with tons of cards and flavor text centered around him. Thomas did everything he could to fit as many flavorful cards into the deck while keeping the deck's power level up. He also decided to not play any other legendary creatures other than Alara in the deck to give it that feeling of Nicol Bolas working alone. As such, the deck plays a little bit like Nicol Bolas himself, keeping your opponents controlled and in pain. Nicol Bolas likes to destroy the plans of others, and does so using several discard spells and effects. Painful Quandary. This card is backbreaking, and it feels a little bit like an ultimatum that would be given by Nicol Bolas himself. Blazing Spectre, Ghoul-Drazh Spectre, Scythe Spectre, and Silent Spectre. All forms of hand disruption that force opponents to use or lose the removal in their hand. Mind Twist. Possibly one of the greatest magic tricks of all time is making your opponent's hand disappear. Stealing other players' stuff and using it against them is another major feature of a well-themed Nicol Bolas commander deck. Volition Reigns. Steal any card you need, straight and simple. Treachery. No need to worry about not having enough mana open for counter magic or removal with this card. Soul Seizer. This is a more easily recurred version of Mind Control. Zealous Conscripts. Lets you borrow someone's permanent. Best used on a planeswalker that's about to go ultimate, or a beefy creature where you need to push for that little bit of extra damage. Silent Blade Oni. Repeatedly lets you hit your opponent's hand for cards, while netting you card advantage. Beguiler of Wills. Repeatedly steals dudes. She may not seem too threatening at first, but after you've stolen a few creatures, she becomes quite a threat. Gather Specimens. Good against token-making decks or lame can't-target-me generals like Uril or Thrun. Praetor's Grasp. Lets you get something good from your opponent's deck, whether it be Soul Rings early game or back-breaking game-ending spells late game. At the very least, you can exile a problem card from their deck, such as Homeward Path. Blatant Thievery. Lets you steal anything. In a 4-player game, you're really adding to your board position. Bribery. It's kinda sad that you can't steal people's prime times anymore. Guess Eldrazi will just have to do. Vesuvan Shapeshifter. Copy something, use it, flip it back down, copy something else. You get the idea. Phyrexian Metamorph. Copying someone's creature is nice. Copying someone's Sword of Feast and Famine is also nice. Evil Twin. Copy something, kill the original. Clone. Simple and straightforward. Make a copy of someone's dude and use it for your own nefarious purposes. Rite of Replication. Copying someone's dude is fine on its own, but making 5 copies is when stuff gets ridiculous. Counter Magic, a.k.a. ways of saying no to things. Desertion. Say no to a spell, then, if it's a creature or artifact, it says yes for you. Force of Will. Sometimes you gotta say no while your opponent is thinking yes. Cryptic Command. Says no, but does other cool things. Counterspell. Good, old, cheap way of saying no that never fails. In a black, blue, red control deck like this, it's expected that you have some great creature removal. Dark Imposter. Takes care of things that are indestructible, or stuff you just don't want to steal. Comet Storm. Can take care of one big dude, several small dudes, or just blast your opponent to the face. Terminate. For when you need something killed dead at instant speed. Croesus's Charm. Kills most creatures, destroys lame artifacts, or bounces problem permanents back so they can be discarded from the hand. Damnation. When everything needs to die, the big black ball of death has you covered. Profane Command. Kills dudes, brings back your dudes, and several other things. Decree of Pain. It slices, it dices, it rasts the board, and can draw a ton of cards. The all-knowing Nicol Bolas has ways to find the right spell for the right time. Teleria West. Helps you get a particular land you might need. Demonic Tutor. Instant access to whatever you desire. Diabolic Revelation. Instant access to all of your desires. Liliana Vess. This necromancer fits right in. She tutors up cards you need, discards from your opponent's hand, and her ultimate can potentially give you the game. The next few cards are just a few of the essentials, such as card draw, mana rocks, and graveyard hate. Rhystic Study. Does your opponent like to play spells? Hope you like to draw cards. Consecrated Sphinx. Does your opponent like to draw cards? Hope you like to draw cards. Jace Beleren, a fun multiplayer card. Combos well with Liliana and works as a pretty cool political card, giving other players cards if needed. Obelisk of Grixis, Sol Ring, Gilded Lotus, and Darksteel Ingot. The deck runs 3 colors and some pretty color-intensive spells. You'll need some help getting the colors and the amount of mana that's required. Bojuka Bog. Great against graveyard abusers like Carador. Can be bounced back for multiple uses with the Ravnica bounce lands. Suffer the Past. A great way to get rid of someone's graveyard that a lot of people may not see coming. Just because it's dead, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gone. Charmbreaker Devils. Constantly gives back instants and sorceries. Gets big quick for game-ending attacks. For extra fun, try cloning him. Havengo Lich. Acts as a go-to kind of guy when you need a mediator between the living and the deceased. Archaeomancer, Mnemonic Wall, and Izzet Chronarch. Get back all of the cool instants and sorceries for another round. Volrath Stronghold. Volrath, despite how evil he was a devoted environmentalist and heavily believed in recycling bodies. Coffin Queen steals creatures from other people's graveyards, brings back creatures of your own, or can just remove an annoying creature your opponents keep abusing. Beacon of Unrest steals a creature or artifact from someone's graveyard, then recycles itself. These cards are in the deck for flavor purposes. Bonus points for quoting the flavor text of each one when playing them. Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. Blows up problem permanents, steals cool creatures, makes opponents very sad. Oh, and it's Nicol Bolas. Sarkhan the Mad. Primarily in here for drawing extra stuff, his -2 can get rid of something truly dreadful. Imp's Mischief. Mainly in here for flavor, while it's no wild ricochet, it gets the job done. Deep Analysis. Get to draw 2 twice. It says target player, so it allows for some political play as well. Wit's End. Mind Shatter is cheaper, but this makes an opponent's hand, no matter how loaded, just die. Disciple of Bolas. Great for sacrificing that huge fatty you just stole, and you get some cards in life. Rakamar. Makes dudes for blocking, sacking to the Disciple, or just slowly building up any army to beat face with. Gem of Becoming. Gets your shock lands as well as basic lands. Who knew that Bolas' headgear was so useful? Slave of Bolas. Stealing someone's dude is awesome. Stealing, then watching their face wrench as you sacrifice it afterwards is just splendid. Cruel Ultimatum. Draws cards, forces your opponents to discard, and swings life totals. Doing this multiple times in a game will win you the Bolas Award. Here are awesome cards that don't fit into really any other category. Leyline of Anticipation. For all the things on the go. Omniscience. Warning. May contain all-knowing knowledge and slight brokenness. There are some pretty backbreaking interactions with this card, such as one involving Omniscience, an instant or sorcery recursion creature, Cryptic Command, and Leyline of Anticipation. Draw any amount of cards, tap everyone's creatures, or bounce everyone's stuff. Nightscape Familiar. Blue and red spells on discount bargain prices. Ethereum Horn Sorcerer. Grabs you cards while avoiding removal, and is a sturdy blocker. Tameo the Moonsage. Taps problem permanents like Homeward Path, draws you cards, and your opponent will be indeed sad if you get her ultimate off while Omniscience is down. Riptide Laboratory. Helps reuse or save useful wizards like Disciple and Izzet Chronarch. Hall of the Bandit Lord. Gives your dudes haste so they can bash face as soon as they land. Great for when you actually do cast Nicol Bolas. Mimic Fat. A sort of clone or graveyard hate. It removes creatures, then lets you use them for a turn. And now for the rest of the lands and mana fixing in the deck. Baron Moor, Blood Crypt, Command Tower, Crumbling Necropolis, Dimir Aqueduct, Dragonskull Summit, Dreadship Reef, Drowned Catacombs, Forgotten Cave, Graven Cairns, Izzet Boilerworks, Rakdos Carnarium, Reliquary Tower, River of Tears, Rupture Spire, Scalding Tarn, Steam Vents, Sulphur Falls, Sunken Ruins, Volcanic Island, Watery Grave, 2 islands, 3 swamps, and 2 mountains. Here are the strengths and weaknesses when playing this deck. Its strengths. The deck is very good at controlling opponents, especially creature-based decks. The deck is resilient and doesn't usually run out of gas very easily. It's very adaptive and can change its game plan according to the opponent's strategy. While Nicol Bolas himself can end the game, the deck doesn't require its general in order to win. The deck can be played either 1v1 or in multiplayer games. Weaknesses. The deck is slow and can lose to other fast-paced aggressive deck builds. Land destruction really hurts this deck, especially Ruination. Homeward Path and Friends gives this deck a headache. Its creatures are weak, so if you can't steal or clone anything, it'll take you a while to win. Nicol Bolas requires 3 different mana every turn just to stay around if you cast him. You should play this deck if you like to play control decks, you like decks with lots of flavor, you like to steal and copy other people's stuff, you enjoy playing longer games, and if you like Nicol Bolas. This Nicol Bolas deck is a great example of a well-done theme deck. Although Thomas Durbin didn't choose every optimal card, he picked flavorful cards that were still fairly powerful. Let me know what your thoughts are on theme decks in the comments section. For next time, vote on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TCGplayer.com by Friday the 5th for either Arcanis the Omnipotent, Glissa the Traitor, or Child of Alara. I'm Carson with Top Go Productions, and as always, thanks for watching.